Love should have saved her. But in the shadow of a dictator, love is a death sentence. Before Mao Zedong ruled China with iron and suspicion, there was Yang Kaihui, his wife, his partner, his believer. She marched beside him when the revolution was nothing but hunger and hope. She raised his children. She kept the dream alive. And when power came knocking, Mao shut the door. He didn't fear enemies. He feared truth. And Yang Kaihui knew too much. Her loyalty became her crime. Her devotion became her execution. This is the story Mao tried to erase. The wife he left to die. 1920, Changsha. A city drowning in warlord corruption and foreign power, slicing China apart. Yang Kaihui is only 19, but she already knows how dictators destroy families. Her father, Yang Changji, a respected scholar, dared to criticize the regime. For that, he died under surveillance, sickness accelerated by political persecution. Loss becomes her teacher. She meets Mao Zedong through her father's work, a young radical writer with wild ambition in his eyes. He talks about liberation. She sees a future. She falls, not into romance, but into revolution. She follows him into meetings hidden behind school walls. She copies secret pamphlets. She translates Marxist texts no woman was supposed to touch. Every act, a risk. Fear lives with them. But so does hope. They marry quietly. No feast, no photos, only a shared promise. We change China together. Historian Philip Short notes that Yang Kaihui was one of Mao's most loyal early comrades. Not just a wife, but a revolutionary equal. She believed the man would lead China toward justice. She gave him 3 sons, Mao Anying, Mao Anqing, Mao Anlong. Poverty claws at their home. Mao is away organizing workers and peasants. The police hunt the couple. Yang hides documents under the baby's crib. She lies to soldiers who search the house. She nurses sick children with one hand, while copying Mao's manifestos with the other. Her love is labor. Her devotion is dangerous. But in Mao's mind, the revolution grows larger than the woman who fuels it, larger than the children that bear his name. He begins to see himself not as a husband, not as a father, but as a rising force China must fear and obey. Yang Kaihui still sees the man she loved. She does not yet see the dictator he is becoming. She believes they share one dream. But in Mao's world, only one person gets to dream. 1927. A storm hits the communist movement. The Shanghai Massacre. Chiang Kai-shek turns on the communists. Blood floods the streets. Mao runs. Yang Kaihui is left behind. He tells her it's temporary. But every new step he takes is further from her. Yang hides with the children in small villages around Changsha. Fake names. Little food. Every night she listens for boots outside the door. Every knock could mean death. Mao, meanwhile, fights for dominance within the fractured Communist Party. He builds a guerrilla base in the Jinggang Mountains. He reshapes himself into a commander, with new allies, new power, and a new woman. He Zijin, a young revolutionary fighter. She marches with Mao, sleeps beside him in the mountains, shares his victories, the ones Yang can only hear rumors about. Historian Yung Chang writes that Mao's personal attachments followed a pattern. They lasted only as long as they served him. And now, Yang Kaihui is far from the battlefield, far from usefulness. Mao's ambition grows heavy. It needs room. It needs silence behind him. It needs no witnesses to the man he once was. Yang does not question his absence. She believes loyalty means sacrifice. She believes Mao will return. She believes the revolution will repay every wound. But reality gnaws at the walls. Neighbors begin avoiding her. Her husband's name is poison. The Kuomintang tracks down communist families. Her children live in terror, clinging to a ghost of a father they barely know. Mao never sends money, never sends orders, never sends love. He builds a new army from the bones of others. He cuts loose anything that slows the march toward power. Yang Kaihui still carries his memory. Mao has already replaced hers. She does not know that one decision has already been made. To Mao, she is expendable. 1930. Mao's rise poisons everything around Yang Kaihui. She moves with her children, constantly, village to village, never safe, never welcomed. Her oldest sons, Anying and Anking, learn to freeze when soldiers pass by. They know the difference between friendly footsteps and killers. But the Kuomintang knows exactly who she is. Not just a widow in hiding. Not just a revolutionary woman. She is Mao's wife. That title becomes a death sentence. Historian Jonathan Spence details how Chiang Kai-shek's forces specifically hunted relatives of communist leaders to send a message. No enemy of the state is ever out of reach. Yang Kaihui is the perfect target. She is the perfect warning. The walls close in. Her children grow thin. Their clothes rot. Villagers whisper that harboring Mao's family invites execution. Doors close when she asks for help. Still, she doesn't run. She tells comrades she believes Mao needs her to be strong. She keeps his ideals alive for their sons. She teaches them why their father fights. But there's a cruel truth she cannot see. Mao never asks about them. He never sends a single soldier for their protection. He never risks anything for her survival. He is busy forging power in Jiangxi, crushing rivals inside the communist ranks, punishing criticism as betrayal, feeding paranoia that blooms like a second revolution. Power transforms Mao into something Yang never imagined. Not a leader of the people, but a man who will sacrifice anyone to rise higher. Even the woman who once saved his life. The Kuomintang prepares the trap. Informants locate Yang Kaihui's hiding place. The circle tightens. Fear is a constant guest now. Sleep is a luxury. Safety is a myth. Yang once dreamed of a nation free from tyranny. Now she learns the cruelest truth of all. Tyranny doesn't care who you love. It only cares who must suffer next. October 24th, 1930. The nightmare becomes real. Kuomintang soldiers storm the village of Bankang. Metal boots smash the silence. Doors splinter. Children scream. They drag Yang Kaihui from her hiding place. Her sons cling to her clothes, small hands trying to hold back fate. Soldiers tear them apart. A rifle butt cracks the air. Her knees hit dirt, marched through the streets like a trophy. Neighbors avert their eyes. She is thrown into a cold cell in Changsha. Concrete, chains, hunger. A mother turned into bait. Interrogators demand what they think she'll give easily. Renounce Mao. Denounce the communists. Swear loyalty to Chiang Kai-shek. Tell us where Mao is hiding. Historian Philip Short notes that Yang Kaihui answered with unbreakable conviction. I will die for him. I will never betray him. For Mao, the man who already left her behind. Still, she protects him. They threaten to kill her children. She refuses again. They make the boys watch her suffering. Still, she refuses. She writes her final words with trembling fingers. I love Mao dearly. I will continue the revolution for him. Even as she bleeds, she believes the revolution will protect her. She believes Mao will come. But Mao does nothing. No rescue attempt. No secret message. No acknowledgement she is even alive. Her children cry for her through the prison walls. She can hear them. She can do nothing. The communists hear of her capture. Mao hears and stays silent. He is already choosing a new path. A path where Yang Kaihui no longer exists. In the eyes of the state, she is Mao's wife. In the eyes of Mao, she is already gone. Betrayal doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just refuses to speak. Changsha, November 14th, 1930. The morning air is sharp enough to cut skin. Yang Kaihui is led out of her cell. Her wrists raw from chains. Her clothes soaked with damp concrete and dried blood. She walks on her own. She refuses to be dragged. The soldiers escort her to the execution grounds at Dongshan, a place where the government disposes of traitors. A place where screams vanish into dirt. Her two older sons, Anying and Enking, are kept close enough to witness. The regime wants terror to live in their bones forever. Yang sees them. She does not cry. She smiles, a mother's last act of protection. Interrogators ask one final time, renounce Mao and live. The offer is a lie. But they want to hear desperation, submission, fear. Historian Yung Chang records Yang Kaihui's answer as calm, sharp, and absolute. Kill me. I will never betray Mao. Down with the reactionaries. No blindfold. She wants her executioners to meet her eyes, to see they are killing a woman braver than all of them. The rifles lift. Yang breathes deep, not in terror, but defiance. Shots crack the sky. Bullets tear through her chest. She collapses, a revolutionary to the last heartbeat, her body tossed into an unmarked grave. No funeral, no last rites, no candle lit in her honor. The guards drag her sons away. Anying, only 8, screams until his voice breaks. He watches the dirt cover the only parent he has ever truly known. word reaches Mao. His reaction is brutal in its emptiness. No return to Changsha. No speech of mourning. Not a single public word. Historian Ross Terrell notes that Mao later spoke of Yang Kaihui only when it served his image. He turned her tragedy into propaganda, but never admitted the depth of his abandonment. Yang Kaihui died for a man who had already erased her. The revolution she believed in left her alone in the mud. But history would not forget. The regime tried to make her a footnote. Instead, she became a ghost that follows Mao's legacy. Because even dictators cannot escape the truth. He didn't have to kill her. He just had to do nothing. Yang Kaihui's blood is still fresh in the soil when Mao rewrites his life. He Zijin, the female Red Army commander. She followed Mao through ambushes, hunger marches, and mountain battles. She is fierce. She kills for the revolution. She bleeds for Mao. And Mao rewards loyalty with possession. They marry in 1928, a full 2 years before Yang Kaihui is executed. He Zijin knows Mao has a family left behind, but ambition casts a long shadow. She believes she can be the one Mao truly loves. She learns the truth slowly. Mao's paranoia grows. He accuses comrades of betrayal. He purges rivals inside the party. Blood spilled not by enemies, but by those who once called him brother. Historian Ross Terrell writes that Mao treated women as fuel for his political fire. When one burned out, he opened a fresh matchbox. 1937, Yan'an. The communist base becomes a fortress of ideology, and Mao becomes its unquestioned ruler. There, Mao meets Jiang Qing, an actress with ambition sharper than any bayonet. She flatters Mao's genius. She listens to his every paranoid whisper. She promises to serve only him, and the revolution he claims to embody. He Zijin becomes a problem. She questions Mao. She argues. She remembers too much. So Mao does what he always does. He removes the witness. He Zijin is shipped off to Moscow for medical treatment. No goodbye, no return ticket, broken, alone, replaced. Jiang Qing steps into her spot, not as a lover, but as a soldier of Mao's ego. She offers him something no one else did. Power amplified. Soon she will help build the cult of Mao. Soon she will unleash terror through the Red Guards. Soon she will become the ruthless architect of the Cultural Revolution. But tonight, she lies beside him in Yan'an, the place Yang Kaihui once dreamed they would build together. Mao kisses Jiang Qing. The revolution celebrates their union. Yang Kaihui's ghost watches in silence. Because in Mao's world, love is disposable. Loyalty is a weapon. And women are erased as soon as they know too much. He doesn't lose wives. He eliminates memories. October 1st, 1949. Beijing. Red flags rise. Mao Zedong declares victory. China cheers. But in his new empire, not every story is allowed to exist. Yang Kaihui, the loyal wife who gave him children, who suffered for his ideals, who died in his name, is dangerous. Why? Because she reminds the world of a Mao before corruption, before tyranny, before he became a god. Historian Stuart Schramm notes that Mao systematically edited his past to remove contradictions. Yang Kaihui was a contradiction he needed buried. Her name disappears from speeches, her face from photographs, her story from textbooks. Her children carry the silence like a curse. Mao Anying, the eldest, never escapes the trauma of watching his mother taken. He joins the military, desperate to prove loyalty to a father who barely knows him. 1950, Korean War. A U.S. airstrike engulfs his position in flames. Anying dies screaming. The same war machine that killed his mother claims him too. Mao barely reacts. He forbids mourning banners. He tells officials, "Soldiers die, that is all." Second son. Mao Anying suffers mental breakdowns from childhood terror. He spends years in psychiatric hospitals. A broken life, a consequence of his father's revolution. The third boy, Mao Anlong, dies young, sick, starved, and forgotten, while Mao ascends to absolute power. Every child who loved Yang Kaihui pays a price for Mao's victory. Meanwhile, Mao builds something monstrous, a personality cult so intense that truth itself must bow. Portraits of Mao replace religion. His words replace thought. Loyalty becomes a survival instinct. And in this vast machinery of fear, Yang Kaihui becomes a ghost. Not dead by bullets, but by censorship. Only whispered memories keep her alive. Stories shared carefully by aging revolutionaries. Tears hidden by her surviving son. Documents smuggled through decades of silence. Because dictators can kill a person once with guns, and endlessly with lies. Mao tried to erase her, to turn her into a disposable chapter. But history has a cruel memory. A tyrant's greatest fear is the truth he abandoned. Yang Kaihui is that truth.